this lady was selling her house because her brother moved his girlfriend in, and she keeps 7 dead guinea pigs in the freezer. And the seller said, I'm sick of moving a pile of damn dead guinea pigs every time I want a fucking popsicle. And that was why she wanted to sell. She ended up wanting more than I could pay for it, though. So I just sent it to Plutus Leads, sold that thing to an agent, and made $150.
Heck yeah.
Pretty cool.
Right? How much do you think that lead cost to you?
125, I think, is what I paid for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So recouped a whole lot of my marketing money, and that agent didn't complain, so I'd assume they got the listing.
Good deal.
Good deal for everybody.
I agree.
Guys, bury your guinea pigs. All right, so this is another one that was sent in by an agent. Very first showing, and it's to sell a rental property. It's a duplex. I would not want to be an agent in that situation. Having to deal with tenants has never gone well for me. They get really upset when...
Oh, when you're an agent?
Well, just for me as an investor, tenants are always pissed because they know I'm here to buy the house, which means they don't get to live there anymore.
Yeah.
And then they inevitably are like, well, I'll keep renting it from you. I'm like, what are you paying in rent? $200? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we're not doing that. Like, sorry, bud. Anyways, very first showing, duplex, upper and lower, all right? So this property is, we'll call it a distressed property. So goes through the lower unit first, and seems like just a really old piece of shit rental. And the lower unit hasn't been updated ever. And the lower unit tenant is very upset. It's an old lady, no teeth, crack pipe sitting on the table next to her. Just standard grandma stuff. Whose grandma doesn't smoke crack?
Right.
So
My grandma smoked crack.
I bet she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God rest her soul.
God. Everybody.
Anyway.
Isn't that crazy? As we're getting older, grandmas are not going to be what they were when we were kids.
No.
No. There's probably a lot of grandmas out there that do smoke crack now.
Yeah.
40 years ago, there were no grandmas that smoked crack.
No, my grandma was a savage.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she smoked crack. She was wild.
She was one of those YOLO grandmas.
She's from Vegas, my man. Yeah, she wasn't a normal grandma.
No.
She was hard.
Had to hit those slots.
Yeah, all the time.
All right, so we're still
All
on
right.
this. We're still on this lower unit with our toothless crackhead grandma. Okay,
All right.
so agent goes in and is like, "Hey, I'm here to show the property, and we're just gonna do a quick walkthrough. We're not gonna touch any of your stuff." The entire time, the woman is shaking, just crack shaking, not angry shaking, just twitchy and gritty teeth, and then says everything's fine. So buyers are not excited that she's there. So they're trying to speed through everything, and they get to the bedroom, and crack smoking grandma's out front screaming, "Don't you touch none of my panties." That was what she was afraid of. Wasn't anything else. It was her panties. Don't you touch none of my panties. So they quickly leave because you got a crack smoking grandma who's now accusing you of touching her drawers. And they get outside and recoup. And they're all laughing, and the agent's trying to keep the buyers, invested in it, and like, yes, it's probably going to work out. We're good. Let's go see what's upstairs. So they go upstairs. Same shithole conditions. Nothing's been updated. Really smoky. A lot of trash. And they knock on the door. They don't get an answer. They do have permission to enter the property if no one answers because they may or may not be home. So they open the door, they go in. What they find is a woman who is probably 35, 40. Bigger lady, not a stand-up citizen, just covered in sores, another one of those junkie types.
Yeah.
Passed out naked on the couch. Just cold. Naked, spread eagle on the couch, just out. They go back out and have a huddle. They're like, should we just wait and come back and not do that? And they're like, well, should we see if she's dead? Like, are you sure she's alive? So they go in again, and the agent goes in by herself and pokes on her. He's like, ma'am, and the woman wakes up in a blood-curdling scream, because who wouldn't wake up if you're laying on your couch naked and there's a stranger standing over you?
Poking you.
This is where I disagree with this agent. I would not have done that. I'd have
Would you
just,
have came in and clapped?
I'd have just not gone in. I'd have called the owner and said, "Hey, she might be dead. You should probably check on it. She's naked." So we just left. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, but always be closing.
You would have gone over to the fat, naked, drugged out lady and poked her to see if she was alive. Tell the truth.
I would have clapped.
You would have.
I would have clapped.
I'd have just slammed the door. Really
No,
hard.
I would have clapped.
You would have clapped.
Yeah.
Throw a shoe at her, maybe.
Yeah.
What if you screamed? What if you screamed in her face?
Yeah.
What if you?
Like a Uno reverse
Yeah,
card.
you go over while she's passed out and you sneak up on her and you get an inch away from her face and then just scream as loud as you can.
And scream in her face.
Mm-hmm. And then don't stop. And then as soon as everybody stops screaming, you giggle and run away.
Yeah.
And then just don't
Really
acknowledge
set the
it.
tone.
When the seller's like, "Did you scream in my tenant's face while they were sleeping
Who you
naked?"
gonna believe, me or
Like,
the tenant?
Are you fucking kidding? No. Why
Yeah.
would I do that? I'm a professional.
All right. So
Yeah.
what else happened?
Let's
story
see.
end.
Sorry. Okay, so after the screaming subsided, okay, who the fuck are you? Obviously, it's gonna be your first question.
Absolutely.
And then, we're just here to look at it. Your landlord was supposed to give you notice. Yeah, he did. And okay, well, we just need to look at it. And then they proceed with the showing as if the woman weren't naked on the couch, covered in sores with meth pipes. So then they start to go through. They get through the living room. The living room has meth paraphernalia, some questionable porn, which that gets a little weirder later on in the story.
So does it, and it's okay to withhold it, does it actually say questionable porn?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Let's-
I'm vested in
What
this
kind of
story.
questionable porn? And again, the way a lot of these go, there's no resolution, and these people kind of the wheels fall off as they go down the line. So it's probably just going to abruptly end. All right, so gets through there, goes through the kitchen. Kitchen is standard junky kitchen. There's not a lot going on other than just filth and empty pizza boxes. Then get to the bathroom, and there's only one toothbrush. She makes note of that, so she's digging deep because she's trying to figure out whose porn it is.
Yeah.
There's only one toothbrush because she said up until this point there's been nothing to indicate a second person living in this house. There's just this one big nasty woman with this questionable porn. So then they go through that. Then they go to the bedroom. She goes ahead and takes the initiative because she's like, well, see if there's guys' clothes in here. So then they start going through drawers, which you don't do. And no, it's just more questionable porn.
And it's in the story that we're going through right now. It says questionable porn.
It says
So
questionable.
you don't even know.
I don't know.
You don't even know
And
what
I'm
this
re-
questionable porn is yet.
I proofread this story for the first bit, and then I left the rest because I like being surprised too.
Okay.
So I don't know where we're going.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that we don't find out, and it's gonna piss me off.
Oh yeah, this is a rage bait.
All right. So she goes through that. She finds more questionable porn.
Stop saying questionable porn.
It's a funny thing to call it.
Questionable porn.
Call it what it is. Is it a magazine? I don't even know if it's a magazine or
We don't
a DVD.
know if it's a magazine, DVD.
What are we?
Questionable porn.
I bet this chick's not an agent anymore. I bet she lost her license. She's all right. So she calls her out.
Oh.
She goes to the lady who's got a meth pipe sitting in front of her, who she woke up from a naked slumber, and says, "Hey, I saw this in the living room, and then I also found more of it in the drawer. Can you tell me about this? Is this yours?" You don't. If you're gonna do something, you can't go through people's shit. You can't go through people's shit. If
And
they
then
move
ask
out
them.
and leave it,
Yeah.
sure. But she's actively living there.
And she's going to confront her about questionable
And
porn.
this is a licensed agent and there are buyers present as well who are witnesses to her doing very unethical things, which is going through someone's shit. Okay.
Yeah.
She asks her, and the woman loses her shit. Why are you going through my drawers? I'm not gonna.
Listen, we're not to the point of who we're going to defend yet.
But I will say, I don't normally agree with meth heads. And I'm not saying that the meth head was right in this by any stretch. However, she is right for saying, why were you going through my shit?
Of course.
You can't go through somebody's stuff.
However, we're still wondering how questionable this porn is. Like, are we talking under, right?
Yeah,
Or are we talking like some kind of like
weird fetish?
RAPE?
Well, I don't think.
Are
I
we
don't
talking
think,
like a snuff film?
I feel like
what
if it
is
were
our
something
question?
illegal. I feel like because again, you got to think about this.
Yeah.
Think about all the real estate agents you know. Some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are normal people. Some of them are just 45-year-old church moms.
Yeah. No, that's true.
This could have just been but I mean, and going through somebody's stuff does sound like a church mom thing to do.
Yeah. And then confronting her like, I can't believe
I'm worried about your soul.
I cannot believe that this is a threesome.
Yeah.
That is between one woman and one man.
Yeah, it could have just been like a picture of a woman with a shirt off. She's like, breasts are for feeding babies. You need to come to church with me.
Yeah.
She's giving me church mom vibes now. This is starting to. That's starting.
We're gonna see with how aggressive or not aggressive. And Matt, honestly, I think by the time we get to the end of the story, I don't think we're. Oh, do we know what it is?
All we know is her broker found out.
All right, keep going. Let's keep going with the story.
Okay, so they get into it. Tennant is on meth and very upset, which she was asleep, so she couldn't have been that high. She had to, but she's probably up for 2 or 3 days and then
Probably in
crashed.
a very deep slumber.
I mean, she could have smoked that meth while they were in the bedroom looking at the questionable porn in her drawers.
And she's ready
Anyways, they clearly were not going to make any progress. So, agent left and just said, I think we should leave before I get stabbed. So, agent leaves. Buyers are not happy because of the situation that agent just put them in. So, the buyers leave. Then, what I would assume transpired, because it doesn't say this, but it's the only thing that makes sense, is the tenant called the landlord to tell the landlord what happened. The landlord then reached out to the broker and let the broker know what happened. And then this agent did get in very big trouble for that. They didn't.
Matt, I noticed your phone's down and
Yeah.
not in your hand anymore.
Yeah, man.
Do we not know what the questionable porn
I
was?
don't know what the questionable porn was. Yeah. I told you that was probably how it was going to end. That's how these people are doing it. They're not getting it.
Questionable?
Questionable. That is. Everyone
I think
has
it's
a-
all relative. I feel
Uh-huh.
like porn is questionable in itself.
Yeah, it's porn.
Yeah, it's
So everybody has their own line in the sand, and I really, I don't. I feel like if it were something illegal,
That
she would have called it what
called
it
it.
was.
Yeah,
She would have said.
she would have called it illegal,
Yeah.
like porn.
Yes, she
rather
would have
than
said
questionable.
more than questionable.
We're gonna get canceled.
We didn't say anything.
We probably can't even say the word.
You don't think so?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. Corn is what we said.
I was just gonna say corn.
I really don't like corn.
Well, it was a really old can of corn she found, and it was questionable because she was like, "This
Questionable
corn,
corn.
I don't know if we should eat this questionable corn. This corn is from 2016. That's pretty questionable."
I'm disappointed in that.
I think, as far as submitted stories, I think we're really gonna have to get used to
The cliffhangers?
because these people. I don't know. Did you ever read Louis L'Amour books? I don't feel like you did.
No, I didn't.
I grew up on them. It was just short little dime store Western books.
Yeah.
He had a really bad habit of writing really good stories that were 100 pages long and building all of this character development and all these different layers.
And then
And then he kissed her and they rode away and had no fucking ending. And it was infuriating. He ended every book that way. I feel like that's what we're going to get. We're going to get agents that submit decent stories
And then just say, all right, I'm done.
and then they just leave shit out that clearly everyone wants to know about.
And my broker found out.
And my broker found out and he
he was
said,
mad.
hey, don't do that no more.
So the only thing that I know about, as far as like going through somebody's stuff, and I'll be honest, like I have the video somewhere, and it's the funniest thing. So an agent sent it to me, and he was the selling agent, so he represented the seller, and they actually had a not a webcam, That sounds worse. So a camera set up in the room, probably some type of Ring, Blink, whatever. So a Ring camera set up in their master bedroom. I don't even think it was like very discreet. But kid came in, long, lanky kid, probably 6 foot, 15, 16 years old. And this was the potential buyers were looking at it. And obviously they didn't keep an eye on their kid. So he goes into the room and he starts pulling out all the drawers. And he's looking for something. This is a kid with a mission.
It's not a 7-year-old.
They have no, it's like a 15, 16-year-old.
better.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's chest drawers, there's, whatever, armoires. He's just going through stuff. And as he's going through stuff, he literally throws up his hands like in frustration, like he's upset. And then next thing you know, he pulls open a drawer, grabs panties, stuffs them in his crotch area.
In front of someone.
No.
Okay.
In front of the camera.
The camera.
In front of the camera.
Gotcha. Okay.
Stuffs it in his like crotch area and then just walks off. That's the end of the video. And the agent sent that to me and he was like, thank God, like my sellers were just like totally bros. Like they were like, of course annoyed by it. But they were just like, what a sick little pervert. Like, that was kind of like their, they didn't make a huge deal out of it. They were just like,
And this
it's a nasty little kid.
This was a buyer's kid? They did
Yeah,
that on
and
the
we're talking like no, it wasn't an actual buyer. It was just a showing.
Okay.
So potential buyer. And so their son went in, stole the wife's panties, stuck them in his crotch area. And that's the whole video clip. And I've seen the video. I mean, it's great. Because when he throws up his hands in frustration, like, he's annoyed that he can't find panties. Like, oh, where does this bitch keep her panties? That's what makes it so great.
I wonder how many pairs of panties he stole.
A lot.
He did that at every house.
Oh, yeah. He has a...
He's like a collection of trophies.
It's what it's called, Matt, and it's called a panty pile.
It's called a panty pile?
Panty pile. That's what he has.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Do you have a panty pile?
I don't. I do not. That's what it's called, though.
Okay. You seem to know a lot about panty piles.
Well,
Were you the boy?
I was once a young man.
I did love panties.
I was once... Seems like a Disney song.
This is a short one, but the husband's reaction does make me laugh. So this is an agent and showing a house. Buyers are there, husband and wife, and they're walking through, normal showing. They get to the kitchen and the agent is looking at the wife and they're talking about the kitchen cabinets or whatever. And the husband is looking out the window and he just goes, huh, look at that. And they turn around and they're just the neighbors, but they're on the back porch just going at it, both fully naked. Right there. That's it. It's just the husband's reaction of just, huh. Would you look at that? All right. This one is from needed a proof of funds for someone to get pre-approved. So they sent me a copy of their bank statement. It was 10 pages, and out of those 10 pages, combined, probably 8 of them were for either adult purchases or adult website purchases.
So that's a lender?
Yeah.
So that was their bank statements that they went through it.
That was their bank statement to get pre-qualified.
Nice. That seems a little invasive.
They do that. I mean,
I know,
they need copies of bank statements.
That just seems invasive, but I get it.
They do that. I mean, I agree, but that's
know.
not weird.
I guess it's weird from a perspective of like, I guess you could just block it out and just be like, it's a personal purchase, but then you're just outing yourself.
Uh-huh.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how I feel about that. I agree with you. It's normal practice. It's just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You would feel like you could just block out all the times you went to McDonald's, right? It's like, hey, it's none of your business.
But again, well, it is. That's the whole reason we're asking for it, is we need to see your spending habits, and we need to make sure that you can afford to pay us our money.
Yeah. And if
we want that 7.5% interest on this loan.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Bless their hearts.
I know.
Another short one that does make me laugh during COVID showing.
So I share I don't know how to word this without anything sounding like too identifying. However, I guess it makes sense because I have multiple accountants, so that's fine. So that makes it better. I have a couple accountants for different companies, right? So I do have an accountant that shares a mutual company, and he even says he's like the amount of money that they spend at Cupid's Outlet and Spencer's and all of these places, right? He's just like, it is astronomical, and because he does their books, so he goes through.
So he has to sit there and talk to him and be like, "Hey, you guys do realize you spent."
But he tells me.
Yeah.
So
I mean that checks out.
Yeah. You always want your accountant to be loose-lipped and
tell everybody everything about you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Liz, I got this one.
Oh,
Here's his name, address, and social security number. This is a short one that made me laugh, though. As a husband and wife during COVID, as an older couple in their mid-60s, went to look at a house. Husband went to the bathroom. He was in there for a long time.
slow down a little bit.
Oh, am I going too fast?
You're going extremely fast.
Oh, okay, sorry. I had a Thai tea with lunch, so it got me
You
all
had a
wired.
what tea lunch? Thai tea?
Yeah.
Thai teas are great.
They're fucking delicious,
They're
but
amazing.
man, they get me keyed up.
They're probably, they're all sugar.
And caffeine.
I mean,
It's like caffeinated chocolate milk that's orange for some reason.
Yeah.
It's fucking
They're
good.
stout.
Yeah.
They're stout. Okay, so that makes sense. That checks out.
No, I went to, that lunch went a lot longer than it should have because I had a Thai tea. So I was like,
Oh, yeah, you got to sit there and enjoy a Thai tea.
we gotta just talk.
Well, it's something you can't just down.
No, you gotta sip on a Thai tea.
For sure.
I can show you exactly which one they sell, by the way. Anyways. The husband goes in the bathroom, mid-60s, in there for a long time. Remember, this is during COVID. Comes out, and the wife is furious because where is your mask? So she's demanding to know where the mask is. And this man angrily screams, there wasn't a damn toilet paper, so I had to use the mask.
I don't know.
And then he flushed it and clogged the toilet because you can't flush a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cloth masks.
I think that, like, drowning, being caught on fire, and clogging somebody else's toilet are, like, the top 3 fears that people have. And then skydiving.
I remember when I was younger, clogging a toilet was a very terrifying thing to think of.
It's terrifying.
Like going over to a girl's house and just, no, that was always so very scary.
Yeah.
That would be really bad.
Yeah.
Well, and then what do you do as that buyer's agent? Do you leave it? Do you tell them? Do you tell the seller's agent? Or do you just...
No, what you do, man, is you say, hey, we came into this house and there's my buyers, I think, are understanding about it, and I think they can look past it, but the toilet was overflowing with shit and what appears to be some sort of medical mask.
So what you're saying is the real move as an agent in this is
Lie.
you get your, you take it a step further. You get your clients to go in there, they clog the toilet, then you call them and be like, listen, my buyers absolutely loved everything about
You use
this
it to
house.
negotiate.
Yeah, and you go, but we are very worried that there are septic issues because this toilet has backed up and overflowed and is spilling all over the bathroom, so we will give you $10,000 under asking. 60-day close.
I think the play for any realtor is to just gaslight the other agent. Just
That's what I
all
would
the
do.
time.
Yeah.
Like when they're like, oh, the roof's new. It's like, it's really not.
I mean,
Just,
did they put it on today?
yeah. Is new's kind of relative.
Can you see the receipt?
I mean, some people say new is a year. Some people say it's 5 years. If I have a property that's 5 years old and we just put the roof on 5 years ago, I say it's a new roof.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not
But in the lifespan of things.
in the lifespan of things.
Yeah.
But I think I would just, if I was a realtor, I think I would just gaslight other realtors.
I think there's a
all day
reason
long.
you went the investor route rather than the realtor route. There are too many agents out there that it
There's
just-
way too many ethics. Oh,
Ugh, ethics are the worst. Ugh, morals. Don't even get me started on
gosh.
morals. Ugh.
So this is like a short true story. So I I I was hanging out with a realtor, and a client was calling, right? And this is why I can't be a realtor, because I would never expect my realtor to do this. But she was going back and forth with a realtor, and she's like, "Oh, I feel like my clients are like, they'll take off $5,000. We can just like call it a day based on repairs, right?" And she's like, "I'm gonna go to my client. I'm gonna tell him that like I can get them more," because the client was like, "Oh, like if up to like whatever you know." If they'll take off a couple thousand, but we'll do it anyway, right? The client's being super transparent. Her client, she's talking to the other realtor. The other realtor is like, "Hey, like, I think we could take off five." And she was like, "I'm going to go for more for my client." Her client's already said, "Hey, if we just get a couple $1,000 off, let's just call it a day, wrap it up," right? And she's like, "I can get more." So I literally said, I was like, just get the fucking deal done. Like, don't go to your client and try to save them more money. Get it done. They want the house. Seller wants to buy it. Just get it done. But however, like, she was like, "No, I'm going to fight for my client," right? She ended up listening to me at the end of the day. However, I just remember I was like, dang, I would not be a good agent.
No.
But I'd be a good agent for me.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, just get it fucking done. Like, she's like, "No, I know I can get more." I'm like, who fucking cares? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you got a buyer, said they're fine. You got a seller, said they're fine. You got a seller and agent, said they're
Everybody's
good.
happy.
Everybody's happy.
So how
I'm
about
like,
we all just sign and
Yeah.
then we move on with our day?
but she wanted to work hard for her clients.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
she wanted the bragging rights, which I can respect.
I
that.
appreciate that. I respect it. And I
You
want
and I
my,
do that all the time.
I expect my realtors to like, look out for my best
Yeah.
fiduciary duty as
Yeah.
they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It sucks when you have to deal with that on the other side. And you're like, you realize you're making waves. Like it's a miracle if a deal goes off without a hiccup.
oh yeah,
So the thought of someone being like, "Hey, everything's going great. Let me fuck this up real quick. Let
Yeah.
me just throw something else out here that pisses
Let me just say,
somebody
hey, listen,
off,
we
that
want
throws
10,000
everything
off."
into turmoil,
yeah.
and then let's make everybody really stressed out and potentially have this whole deal fall apart, so I can brag about it."
But the thing is that on the flip side, right? Like, I feel like she was, like you said, brag about it. Maybe it's something to where like she can confidently go to other clients and say like, "Hey, look, this is the
I
kind of
did
agent
this,
I
yeah.
am." Yeah. Like, I can respect that, because I've done the same thing. Like, where I'm just like, "Hey, just fuck, we'll just take $10,000 off, call it a day," and then they call me back and they're like, 4,000. It's like, got you done. I'm like, cool, appreciate it. And the difference of commission that they make is so minimal, right? It's 3% of whatever that is, $10,000, $300. So it's like the fact that like they're just like, "Oh no, like we'll just do it." Like, I appreciate that. I wouldn't do it.
I think it just depends on the situation and how I'm feeling that day. If I were feeling squirrely, because there are some days where I'm like, let's just get this done,
Yeah.
and then there are others where I just want the fight.
Yeah. I think it'd be like, and if you're that close to the end of it, I think it'd depend on also, like you said, it's just like, do the other agent piss you off? Do you want to gaslight them?
Yeah. Do I want to have fun and make your life harder and make an enemy today?
You're sick.
I'm not sick. You're sick.
You're sick. Let's just wrap it up. We'll find some more. We'll start another day. I'm fine with that.
I mean, this one's pretty good.
You gotta go?
Yeah.
All right. We'll end after this one then.
All right. So roughly 10 years ago, housing market was starting to heat up. Prices were low. Rates around 4%. 15 to 20 offers on a good house was starting to become normal. Clients were friends of a friend, living in a rat-infested home with a terrible landlord. They had been denied a loan from a big lender. I was also a loan officer at the time, so I did some investigating, asked them if they had other income, did a song and dance. This person's tooting their own horn, talking about how awesome they are. At the end of the day, they got it done. She was able to get them pre-approved, so that's cool. So she starts shopping, trying to find them a house. They keep getting outbid on everything because this was at the beginning of everything being crazy. So they couldn't get a house. Finally, they make an offer. It gets accepted. It's a beautiful home. Everyone's happy. The agent's happy because she worked really hard to get them there. This family had 3 kids. So they get it closed and they move into the new house. And the agent goes to bring them a housewarming gift. because that's a nice thing to do as an agent. Agents, don't bring your clients flowers. Nobody likes that shit. It's not a good gift. So
Yeah.
this one brought, a bottle for the dad, a gift card for the mom, toys for the kids. She's really excited. So arms are loaded. She gets to the new house and goes in to give them the presents. This family does not seem like the kind of family that would have this issue. They got raided by the DEA and the FBI because the husband, father, was a big time drug dealer. And she went outside, gave a statement, did all that, waited by the car because she wanted to see, and she said that they had just moved in and they were bringing out bricks and bricks and bricks, which I would assume that's coke.
Yeah, I would say
That's-
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shrink
bricks.
wrapped kilos of cocaine.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good story.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, going to congratulate them on their new home and job well done, and it's good.
How's it been?
How do they all end? They fucking don't.
They don't.
None of these people know how to end a story.
Much like this podcast.